Welcome back. Today we're going to look at the stages of attachment. Schaffer and Emerson's study was where 60 babies from Glasgow studied, and the majority were from skilled working class families. Babies and mothers were visited home every month for the first year and then at 18 months. Mothers were asked questions about how their baby would react in 7 everyday separations, for example when an adult leaves the room. This study aimed to measure stranger anxiety in the infant's attachment. It was found that between 25 to 32 weeks of age, signs of separation anxiety were seen towards one adult, usually the mother. Such an attachment was seen with the caregiver, who is sensitive and interactive towards the infant's signals and not who the infant spent most of their time with. At 40 weeks, 80% of the babies showed specific attachments and 30% showed multiple attachments. A strand of this study is that it has a high external validity because the families were observed in their homes and the parents described their infant's behavior to the researcher, thus reducing demand characteristics. The longitudinal study design of this study meant that the infants were observed when they were most likely to form attachments before the critical period of 30 months, making the findings more valid. Just in case you guys didn't know, the critical period is a period during which an attachment must form, and if an attachment doesn't form when you're 30 months, then it's never likely to form. A weakness of the study is that a small sample size of 60 babies were used, so the findings are not representative and can't be generalized to the wider population of infants at the same age. Another weakness is that the sample is prone to population bias because the study was done on infants from Glasgow, so the findings are biased or they only represent infants in Glasgow and not globally, as certain rearing styles may be adopted in Glasgow and not in other parts of the world. 4 stages of attachment. So during this study, Schaffer and Emerson found that attachments develop in 4 stages. Stage 1 is the asocial stage, and it's during the first few weeks of birth. The baby recognizes and has formed a bond with their caregivers. However, the baby behaves the same way with the humans and non-human objects. The baby is happy and prefers it when they are around familiar adults. Stage 2 is when indiscriminate attachments form, and this is usually during 2 to 7 months, where more observable social behavior is seen. People are preferred instead of inanimate objects, especially familiar adults are preferred. Nevertheless, they do take hugs or comfort from any adult, and they don't show separation distress and stranger anxiety. Stage 3 is when specific attachments form, and this is usually during 7 months. The baby shows separation distress and stranger anxiety. Specific attachments are formed when an adult calls their primary caregiver, who interacts with them best and responds to their signals. So this primary caregiver is the individual who responds best to the baby. Stage 4 is when multiple attachments form, and this is usually during the age of 1. So many other attachments are formed with adults called their secondary attachments, and these adults are people other than their primary attachment primary caregiver. A trend is that all the stages are detailed, which suggests that the infants have been analysed well, increasing validity. Another strand is that these stages of attachment have real-world applications because they can be used as a checklist to track how your baby is progressing in their attachment. This is useful because any abnormalities can be identified at an earlier stage and you can seek help. However, there's not much observable behavior in the asocial stage since the babies have poor coordination as a result of being too young, thus making it difficult to make judgments from observations. A problem can be identified in the manner in which multiple attachments are assessed because it does not mean that an individual has an attachment with the infant if the infant is distressed when they exit. This is because Bowlby found that infants have playmates as well as attachment figures, and so they can show distress when their playmates exit the room, hence reducing the validity because a way has to be found to distinguish between the behavior shown towards attachment figures and playmates. In our next video, we will look at animal studies of attachment, but before then, make sure you make your notes from what we covered today, and remember to revise, rest, test and repeat yourself. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much to Canva because I used their templates to make these slides. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment and press the bell icon on our channel Revision Hub. Thank you so much.